What if Japan's most famous symbol of boyhood strength wasn't, the son of a noble princess, but maybe the child of a mountain witch and a bolt of lightning? Today, we're taking a deep dive into the legend of Kintarō, the Golden Boy. We'll uncover how a real-life samurai from the 12th century became this incredible legend who wrestled bears, befriended demons, and, well, continues to shape Japanese identity.
Exactly. And our mission for this deep dive is really to unravel all those layers of Kintaro's story. We want to move beyond just the surface narrative, to reveal its rich cultural, historical, and even modern significance. We're aiming to pull out those impactful nuggets that show you how his tale isn't just some old story, but actually a vibrant thread running right through the fabric of Japan.
Okay, so let's unpack this core story of Kintaro's then. Our journey starts deep within the formidable Ashigara Mountains, in a secluded cottage where a woman of, mysterious origin gives birth to a son. And this son has prodigious health and just inexplicable strength right from the start. Now, right from the beginning, this mysterious origin feels pretty significant. What does that immediately tell us?
Well, what's truly insightful here is how Kintaro's birth instantly sets him apart. It flags him as special. Some tales claim his mother was Princess Yagiri, a noblewoman hiding out. Others whisper she was a yama-uba.
A mountain witch, like a spirit of the wilderness.
Precisely, a spirit of the wilderness itself. And this ambiguity, it isn't just a plot device. It really hints at his dual nature. It positions him from birth as someone connected to both that refined world, potentially, and also the raw, untamed forces of nature.
And from his earliest days, Kintarō, meaning Golden Boy, was, unlike any other child. Picture him, plump, tireless, with this ruddy complexion that seemed to almost glow with vitality. And he wore only a simple red haragoke that's a kind of diamond-shaped apron emblazoned with the kanji for gold. His only possession. A huge woodcutter's axe, a masakari, which he carried around easily, even as a little kid. What do these early images, this very distinctive look, tell us about his character?
Oh, it's a foundational portrait, isn't it? That ruddy complexion, the red hair goat, they immediately signal immense vitality and this raw, untamed energy. It's almost like a connection to the primal forces of nature itself. And the axe, even just as a woodcutter's tool, suggests capability, self-reliance, not just raw strength. It's an early hint that his power isn't really about aggression, but about a potent connection to his environment.
And his world was the forest, absolutely. His friends were the creatures. A loyal bear, a clever monkey, a swift hare, a gentle deer. We actually have a beautiful quote here describing it. Quite unlike other boys, Kintarō grew up all alone in the mountain wilds, and as he had no companions, he made friends with all the animals, and learned to understand them and to speak their strange talk. By degrees, they all grew quite tame and looked upon Kintarō as their master. This really solidifies that wild child image you mentioned earlier, doesn't it?
Precisely. And look, this isn't just some charming detail. It's absolutely central to his power and his unique kind of heroism. His mastery over nature isn't achieved through conquest or, a subjugation. It comes through understanding and kinship. Unlike many Western heroes who might try to dominate the wild, Kintarō belongs to it. He exists in harmony with the natural world, and that deep connection, that's the source of his profound strength.
And he loved to test that strength, right? Through these legendary feats, the stories are just captivating. He'd sumo wrestle the mightiest bear on the mountain and actually throw it to the ground. Then imagine him wrestling a giant carp, the king of the river. That's got to be symbolic, right? Mastery over strength and perseverance.
Absolutely symbolic. The carp is hugely significant in Japan.
But the most iconic display of his power, the moment that really set him on his legendary path, that came after a huge storm.
Ah, yes, the bridge.
Right. A ravine had opened up, trapping his animal friends on a dangerous ledge. Seeing their plight, they're just fun. He didn't hesitate. He wrapped his arms around the trunk of this massive tree, and with a tremendous cry, just uprooted it from the earth, pulled it right out. He then laid the tree across the ravine, making a sturdy bridge so his friends could cross safely. Now, this is where the story pivots dramatically.
Indeed it does. Because this incredible display of power wasn't just for his animal buddies, it was witnessed by a man resting nearby, the great samurai general Minato no Yorimitsu.
A real historical figure.
A real historical figure, yes. Traveling through the mountains looking for promising warriors, actually. And he was just astounded by Kintaro's strength and immediately asked him to become his retainer. So, what's the significance of this meeting?
It feels like a turning point.
It absolutely is. Yorimitsu really represents the civilizing force in this narrative. He's the agent of society, of order. He recognizes Kintaro's raw, untamed potential and offers him a path, a way to refine it. This is where Kintaro's primal energy starts its journey into structured society, moving from raw power to disciplined skill and purpose. It's that classic meeting of the wild and the cultivated.
So Kintaro goes back to his mother, and she's just filled with pride. In some versions, this is where she reveals his noble samurai heritage, explains his destiny. She apparently exclaimed, "Oh, Kintaro, from the day that you were born, I knew that this would be your destiny. You will be one of the finest warriors that Japan has ever seen. Even your father wants you to go. That red sky was him talking to you." Powerful stuff.
Very powerful, a blessing for his journey.
And after this farewell, he traveled with Yorimitsu to Kyoto. He took the adult name Sakata no Kintoki and quickly rose to prominence. Became chief of Yorimitsu's legendary Shitano, his four braves, his top guys.
That's right, the elite warriors.
And his fame was cemented when he and the other Shitano defeated the terrifying demon ogre, Shutenduji. A major accomplishment.
Huge. A story in itself.
And importantly, true to his word, Sakata no Kintoki returned to Mount Ashigara and brought his mother to live with him in Kyoto. Made sure she could live out her days in comfort. That filial piety connection.
Absolutely key. So we've heard that master narrative, right? Kintaro's strength, his journey from wild to civilization. But if we connect this to the bigger picture, this master narrative, well, it's just one thread. Kintaro's origin story actually has these fascinating variations. What's the core takeaway from these shifting origins? Why so many versions?
It suggests the story was really flexible, maybe adapted over time.
Exactly. It's simple, but profound. Kintaro is a kind of cultural chameleon. His story wasn't static, it was like a living canvas, constantly being repainted to reflect changing values, changing entertainment needs of each era. It evolved from local lore into a national saga. We basically have three main paths for his origin, and each one adds another layer to his mystique.
Okay, what's the first one?
First, the noble lineage. In this version, Kintaro is the son of Princess Yagiri and a samurai named Sakata. He's born in seclusion because his mother had to flee some family feud. This version ties his strength directly to a noble warrior bloodline. It makes his integration into the samurai world feel natural, like a restoration of his birthright, almost predestined.
Okay, noble bloodline. Makes sense for a samurai hero. What's next?
Second, the yama-uba as foster mother. Here, Kintaro's human mother dies or abandons him, and he's discovered and raised by a benevolent yama-uba, a mountain witch.
Ah, so she finds him.
Yes. And this version really emphasizes that wild child archetype we talked about. Gives him a deeper, more primal connection to the supernatural world, like a spiritual adoption.
Got it. And the third, you mentioned it earlier, the most mythical one.
Right. The yama-uba as biological mother. This one has a couple of takes. In one interpretation, his human mother just becomes so haggard and wild from living in the mountains that people mistake her for a yama-uba.
Okay. Bit more grounded, maybe?
A little, but the most fantastical version claims the yama-uba herself conceived Kintaro. How? Well, after being impregnated by a clap of thunder from a great red dragon.
Wow. Okay, yeah.
Often identified with Reijin, the Shinto god of thunder and lightning. And Shinto, of course, being Japan's indigenous spiritual tradition, deeply connected to nature and ancestor worship. This divine parentage gives a pretty direct explanation for his superhuman strength and, importantly, his iconic red skin.
So these variations, they show how the legend grew over time.
Exactly. Moving from maybe a local myth about some mountain spirit to a story anchored to a historical warrior figure, and then getting richly embellished for popular entertainment, especially during the Edo period. You saw him in plays, kabuki, bunraku, and those vibrant woodblock prints, ukiyo-e. It really shows this continuous cultural dialogue with the hero figure, adapting him again and again.
And this story isn't just folklore floating in the ether. It's deeply rooted in a real place, isn't it? Mount Ashigara.
Absolutely. Also known as Mount Kintoki, right on the border of Kanagawa and Shizuoka prefectures. And for the Japanese, mountains aren't just scenery. They're sacred spaces, dwellings of kami gods or spirits and powerful forces. Mount Ashigara isn't just a backdrop here, it's practically a character itself.
How so?
Well, it represents that wild, untamed, divine world that forged Kintaro. It stands in such stark contrast to the refined civilization of Kyoto. It showcases this inherent duality within his story and maybe within Japan's own cultural identity, too.
And you can still feel that connection today.
You can. The area is dotted with landmarks. There's the Kintoki Shrine, where he's venerated as a protector of children. Hikers can apparently still see giant boulders that local lore claims Kintaro chopped in half or played with.
Wow.
Yeah. And even the ruins of his supposed maternal grandfather's house in Juzoto are recognized. It gives the legend this tangible, almost touchable presence.
Okay, so we have the place. What about the time? The historical anchor is Sakata Kintoki, believed to have lived during the Heian period, right? Roughly 794–1185. You described it as a golden age of courtly culture, but also this time of tension with a rising samurai class, the Bushi. How did Kintaro fit into that dynamic?
Well, Minamoto no Yorimitsu, his master, was right at the forefront of this rising warrior class. So Kintaro's story, this strong boy from the wild serving a great general, it powerfully celebrated the virtues valued by the samurai, things like martial prowess, unwavering loyalty, strength of character. It was a narrative that championed deeds over inherited courtly rank.
So kind of a story of social mobility, based on merit.
Exactly. A powerful tale of social mobility during a period of shifting power dynamics. And the first known written mention of a warrior actually named Sakata Kintoki, but without all the fantastical stuff, is in the Kanjaku Monogatari. It's an anthology of tales from the past, compiled around 1120, late Heian period.
Ah, okay. So this raises an important question then. What's missing from that very earliest account?
Crucially, pretty much all the stuff we think of as classic Kintaro. There's no mountain birth, no yama-uba, no talking animals, none of those really fantastical elements we know today.
So those were added later.
Yes, woven in over centuries. Especially popular during the Edo period, as we said, in kabuki, bunraku puppet theater, and those ukiyo-e prints. Embellishment was key for popular entertainment then.
Right.
So this really reveals Kintaro as what we might call a syncretic hero. He's a fusion of a real place, potentially a real person, and this ancient spiritual reverence for nature's power. And it's this powerful blend of history and myth that's precisely why his story endures with such profound and lasting resonance. It has roots in both worlds.
So let's dig into that resonance. What does this all mean for us beyond just the exciting narrative? You said the legend is a powerful vehicle for transmitting core Japanese cultural values. What are some of those key virtues embedded in his tale?
Yeah, it's really a rich tapestry of idealized virtues, particularly those linked with the samurai code, Bushido, but also broader Japanese ethics that still shape the culture today.
Okay, let's break some down. First, obviously, strength and bravery. His strength is innate, almost a divine gift. He faces down animals, monsters, demons without fear. But it's not just brute force, is it?
No, definitely not. It's more like a valor born of confidence and a kind of purity, not simple aggression. It's the strength to protect, fundamentally.
Right, then there's loyalty and filial piety. We saw that. Unwavering loyalty to Yorimitsu, a cornerstone of Bushido. And crucially, that deep filial piety towards his mother, never forgetting her, caring for her in old age. That balance seems important.
It's profound. That balance of duty to one's lord and duty to one's family is really central.
And uniquely, perhaps, his harmony with nature. You mentioned this, unlike many Western hero myths about conquering nature.
Yes, Kintaro lives in complete harmony. His power actually arises from his unity with nature, not in opposition to it. It's a deep respect for the wild, seeing himself as part of it, not separate.
That feels like a really vital distinction. And it also ties into compassion, right?
Thus,
Omayari.
it does. He consistently uses his power for others, helping woodcutters, saving his animal friends, defending Kyoto from demons. The story teaches that true strength is defined by the willingness to protect and serve, not to dominate. He's a protector, not a conqueror.
And you also mentioned on A, that concept of a debt of gratitude.
Yes, a very significant one in Japanese culture. He carries a profound on to his mother for life and care, and also to Yorimitsu for giving him his place in society. His life becomes structured around fulfilling these sacred debts, these obligations. It speaks to a deep sense of reciprocity.
Okay, and finally, karma, or inga.
Right. His innate goodness and his virtuous actions lead directly to his discovery by Yorimitsu and his rise as a national hero. It embodies that principle of cause and effect. He essentially earns his destiny through his character.
The story is also just packed with symbolic imagery that helps convey these values and makes them so memorable visually.
Absolutely. The symbolism is key to understanding his lasting impact. Let's look at a few. His red skin. We mentioned this. In Japanese iconography, red marks him as a being of supernatural power and vitality. It connects him to potent forces like the thunder god Reijin, who's also often depicted with a red body. It's the color of raw, untamed, yet often benevolent energy.
Enax the Masakari.
Well, it links him to the common labor of woodcutters, grounding his incredible power in the everyday world. But sometimes it's also seen as the weapon of the thunder god, which reinforces that potential divine parentage. So it's both a tool of creation and immense force.
Then there's the bear. You said he wrestled one, but they also became friends.
Exactly. In the mountains, the bear is the ultimate symbol of raw, untamed power. Kintaro's defeat and then friendship with the bear show something important. He hasn't just conquered nature's strength, he's mastered it, integrated it. He commands the power of the mountain because he's in harmony with it, not by dominating it.
Okay, and the giant carp, the koi, he wrestled that too.
Yes, and the koi is a hugely powerful symbol in Japan. Strength, courage, perseverance, worldly success. That comes from the legend of a carp leaping the Dragon Gate waterfall to become a dragon. So Kintarō wrestling the carp symbolizes him mastering these very virtues, which is exactly why his image holding a giant carp is so popular on Children's Day.
Ah, that makes sense. And finally, the mountain itself.
It's the archetypal space, isn't it? The wild, the primal, the divine. His journey from the mountain down to the capital, Kyoto, is a classic hero's journey. From the world of myth into human society, bringing that wild potential to serve a civilized purpose.
This brings us to an important insight you mentioned from Japanese folklore scholars like Kunio Yanagita.
Yes, Yanagita's work is key here. He saw figures like Kintaro not just as historical figures or simple folk heroes, he saw them as culture heroes and embodying the divine child archetype, an intermediary between the human and the divine worlds. Kintaro personifies this ancient concept of mountain spirits, kami, descending to bless the rice fields in the spring, bringing the potent, fertile energy of the mountain down into civilization.
Wow, so he's kind of channeling the mountain's power for society.
In a way, yes. And this reveals what you might call an ideal form of Japanese masculinity, one that uniquely balances wildness with civility. Kintaro doesn't reject his wild past, he integrates it. He even brings his mother, the ultimate symbol of his wild origins, to the city with him.
That's a crucial point.
It is. The most effective individual, the story seems to imply, isn't purely refined or purely primal. It's the one who can harness nature's raw power, the yama, but temper it with the discipline and compassion of social order, the sato. It's a powerful lesson in integration, not suppression.
And Kintaro is definitely not just some dusty relic. He's a vibrant, living figure in contemporary Japan, right? His image and story are constantly renewed. His most visible legacy has to be his role in Kodomo no Hai, Children's Day, on May 5th. That evolved from Boys' Day.
That's right. And how do we see his influence there? Well, families display Kintaro dolls, Kintaro ningi. Often you'll see them adorned with miniature samurai helmets. They express the hope that their sons will embody his strength, his courage, and importantly, his kind heart. It's a really powerful cultural touchstone, a yearly reminder of these enduring virtues.
And beyond the festival, his name is literally woven into daily life.
It is. There's Kintarime, that cylinder-shaped candy where his face appears on every slice, no matter where you cut it.
Oh, I know that candy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kintoki Meme, which are sweet red kidney beans named for his adult moniker, Sakata no Kintoki. Their red color echoes his heroic depiction.
So he's everywhere, even in snacks. And his archetype, this super strong, nature-connected hero, you said it's incredibly fertile for modern creators. Anime, manga, video games.
Hugely fertile. They constantly play with his core identity, reinterpreting him for new generations. For example, in the anime Kaidomaru, the legend actually deconstructs traditional gender roles by making the hero a girl who takes on his mantle.
Interesting twist.
Yeah. And then you have something like the mobile game Fate Grand Order, which translates his wildness from the ancient forest into the world of modern urban biker gangs. It makes his rebellious spirit relatable in a totally new context.
From forest wilds to biker gangs. Okay.
Exactly. And even Studio Ghibli's masterpiece, Spirited Away, offers a fascinating critique of the archetype through the character of Bo, the giant baby. Bo has Kintaro's immense strength, but initially he completely lacks his compassion. He represents power without responsibility, which is a very Ghibli theme.
That's a great example. So these adaptations really show Kintaro's legacy isn't static at all. He's constantly being reshaped by creators to comment on contemporary ideas about strength, gender, responsibility.
Precisely. It proves the profound adaptability and the enduring power of his story across centuries. He keeps finding new relevance.
So from that mysterious birth in the Ashigara Mountains to battling demons in Kyoto, from a historical retainer maybe, to a symbol on candy wrappers and in video games, Kintaro the Golden Boy truly is a legend with so many layers.
Absolutely. And this deep dive really shows us how these ancient myths continue to evolve, don't they? They reflect and shape the values of a culture while offering these timeless lessons about strength, loyalty, and that crucial harmony with the natural world.
So as you reflect on Kintaro's journey, from the wild Yama to the civilized Sato, integrating both, You might ask yourself, what ancient stories, what archetypes are still shaping your world, maybe subtly influencing your ideas of strength or responsibility or your connection to nature, even if you don't recognize their golden boy or girl at first glance?